Okay, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do a blended sky. And we'll do two of them. This one we're going to do a daytime sky, and this one we'll do sunset. So I have, for the daytime sky, I have phthalo blue and white. So the key with blending is that you have to keep your paint wet for it to blend. And in order to save time, we're going to pre-mix our colors. So I want a darker blue for the top of the sky, and then I want it to get a lighter blue towards the horizon line. So I think I'm going to do that for my, and you can mix up 3 colors if you want. So the darkest blue for the very top. There we go. Dark blue, medium blue, and then I'll do a light blue. Okay, and you need to make sure to mix up enough of the color that you're not going to run out mid-blending, because that is just a disaster, okay? Okay, then you're going to want a nice, thick, flat brush, okay? And I'm going to start with my lightest color first, and I'm going to make sure this brush is nice and dry. I washed it, so it's nice and clean, and now I'm drying it off, making sure it's nice and dry. And we just scoop up enough paint, and we're going to start with our lightest color at the horizon line. And I need enough paint that my paint just glides, okay? If your paint does not spread very easily, you just don't have enough paint on your brush, okay? So you want to just put enough on there that it just glides back and forth in long sweeping motions that go all the way off my tape, okay? And since this color is lighter and it's going to be easily overpowered, I'm going to put it up higher than I think that I need it. Okay. All right, and then if my brush doesn't have a lot of paint on it, I'll just wipe and then I'll switch to my next color. And I'm going to overlap it. So I'll put my next color down, and then I'm going to, so right now I have a really hard edge between this color and this color, and I want that edge to disappear. So all that takes is sweeping motions back and forth, where the two colors mix together. See how I said that lighter color was going to get easily overpowered? So I don't want to go down too far. I just want to blend those two colors together. Okay. So now I'm going to do a little bit more of that medium blue color. Long sweeping brush strokes across the tape. And I'm going to wipe that color off and then go to my final darkest blue. And I'm going to paint the top of the square dot, and then I'm going to blend those two colors together. I think I could use a little bit more of this. Now if it starts to get sticky, that means it's drying and it's not going to blend after it dries. So sometimes you can just barely dip your brush in a tiny bit of water just to get it to glide a little bit and keep it wet a little bit longer, but you really don't have much time with acrylic. That's all the time you have. Okay, now let's do a sunset one, okay? So I'm just gonna wipe my palette knife. I would wash out my brush, but to save time, I just have another brush on hand. Okay. The red so easily overpowers the yellow. So we need to come up with a mixture where I just use a little bit of red and I'll create an orange. White can be really pretty if you, you can use the straight yellow on the bottom, but I find it's really pretty if you do like a light yellow. Uh-oh. Some blue got in it, so it's gonna look a little green. Yep, too green. I'm gonna add some orange back in. Okay, a clean brush, dry brush. We want it wide and flat. Okay, so I'm going to start with my lightest color towards the horizon line, my yellow, Adding a little bit of white to the yellow makes it more opaque as well, and you don't have to do multiple layers. It'll be more see-through. Now see how my paint is just not gliding very well. It's leaving the texture of the paper. That means I'm just not using enough paint. You want just a smooth glide right across the surface. That means you'll have enough paint on there to actually blend before it dries. Okay, and I do that color up higher than I think I need because it's going to be easily overpowered, and I'll switch to my orange. And once I get a nice stripe laid down, now I want to put my brush halfway between my orange and my yellow and just blend it back and forth until there's no longer a clear transition. It's a smooth, gradual transition. Okay, and then I am going to do, I'm going to add a little bit more of that orange so it doesn't get so overpowered by the red. And now I just have a little bit of red at the very top. I don't want to touch that blue that's up there that's still wet. And then I'm going to drag that down and blend it into the orange. I could probably do a little bit more red. Okay, and then you have a nice little sunset sky. Again, like you could add white to some of those colors. You could sub out magenta for the red if you want more of a pinkish sunset. And that's really pretty when the pink mixes with the yellow. You get kind of a peach, peachish orange, so that can be really pretty. Okay, and that's all I'm going to show you because I think you get the idea with blending. Pre-mix your colors. Make sure you mix up a big pile of them so you don't run out of the color halfway through. And work fast with a large brush, and that's how you blend, okay? So on these other two squares, you're going to do a nighttime sky, which, let me get an example. Which looks like this, okay? So your nighttime sky, you want it to blend from black into whatever you want. Now typically it'll be blue or purple. I wanted a little bit of pink at my horizon line, but it has to have black and then go into kind of a cool color, okay? And so that's what you're gonna do on here, a nighttime sky, and then the last one is your choice. So I tell kids, whatever one of these three you didn't think turned out very well, do it again so you have another shot to try it there, okay?